Bring out the gap. Get him sleep. And I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
All right. What's going on, folks? What's going on, peeps? How's it going? How's it doing? How is it shaking out there in podcast land? Back this up just a little bit so you can see my shirt. This is Edisto. Why I look like I got scoliosis or something over here? Edisto Blackwater Boogie. If you don't know, maybe next year you'll know, because hopefully you're going to get your ass there and you're going to boogie with us next year, When is the boogie next year? Well, the boogie next year is the 27th, 28th, and 29th of October in the year 2023 of our Lord. So make sure you mark that on your calendars now. I don't think anything is available yet. A lot of things could happen. Things are up in the air. We're not going to start producing tickets and shit yet, right? We got to put the whole thing together first and make sure all the players are in place and that nothing catastrophic happens over the next year. But man, what a good time. I mean, there was 40 plus bands over there. I went Friday, I went Saturday. I did not go Sunday. I was just beat. I was worn out. Friday, hung out. I think I got there maybe at 5 o'clock. I think things started at 5:30 or 6. I can't remember. There's too many things to remember nowadays. My brain is full. It's full of crap is what it's full of. But not feeling too well, guys. I haven't been feeling well past couple weeks or so. I don't know. I got a real bad sinus congestion going on, sinusitis, headache. Just I feel hot all the time. I don't know. Who knows what's going on? But could be worse. I could be dead, I guess. I don't know. Would that be worse or would that be better? I guess I wouldn't be feeling anything and I wouldn't even know anything. Unless I'm wrong about God, and then it could be a lot worse, I guess. If you believe all the stories. And I think that's what they are, stories. But we won't get into that whole thing. But yes, I went to the boogie. I didn't get a chance to film and video everybody. I got some of the main players that I wanted to get. I didn't get as many new people that I didn't know as I wanted to. But I'm only one man. I'm one guy, I'm walking around with my equipment, with my tripod over here, my phones. I'm carrying a beer around with me. Rusty Bull was the brewery out there. Had 3 beers on tap. Had a lager. They have a lager, they had a pale ale, and they had an IPA, a hazy IPA. So some good beer out there. It was pretty much all gone by the time Sunday rolled around. I think they maybe had 1 beer left, if that. They had some other things out there too, some wine and some seltzers in a can and some things like that you could get. Poorly Grounded was out there. They were a coffee conglomerate, Coffee on Wheels. Mr. Chris Rinkin and his wife Lori kind of run that thing. I think Chris does most of the stuff with it, but oh man, I just had a drip. I was out here last night and I had just everything open, all the windows open. I had my hatch open up here, skylight, and was feeling good last night, man. It was good weather, starting to cool down a little bit. And I left everything open. Didn't know it was going to rain today, and rained pretty hard for about 10 minutes. So I'm sitting on a towel here on the couch, and I'm still getting a few drips from the screen here as some water still kind of drips down that got into the trailer. Not big. I mean, like I said, 10 minutes worth. The hatch wasn't completely open. It was about a 45-degree angle, so a lot of the rain missed the hole, I guess you could say, which sucks. It sucks when you miss the hole, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes it happens. So the boogie. So I got a few good videos from Friday, and then woke up, got back out there again on Saturday. Got some good videos. Stayed the entire day on Saturday. Actually, I left a little bit early after the Mike Friend Band played because Clemson Tigers were playing that evening, so I wanted to make sure I saw that. And then I didn't go back out on Sunday. I was just worn out. Sunday started early, and was only going till like 2 o'clock, and I wouldn't even want to get out there till like 1 o'clock, so I would have missed pretty much everybody, so I just said screw it. I did get back out there again on Tuesday and help Mr. Dan Riley tidy up a couple things and return a couple rental lights that he had rented, to light up the park there at night. Is Give Ann's Ferry State Park is where it's been right off the Edisto. So it's going to be there again next year as well. And all the money goes to, it's a nonprofit that puts this thing on. So all the money goes back to the parks, and it goes to a couple other things around town as well. The musicians, of course, that played, the vendors made their own money. But it's a good time. If you haven't been before, this is the third annual that they've done it. Not in a row, but the third one they've done. So this will be the fourth coming up. If you haven't gone, I highly recommend it. Hopefully it's going to be even bigger and better this coming year than it was this past. And if that's possible, it's going to be fantastic. Highly recommend it. And I would get your tickets early, get your camp spots early because they go quickly, especially the RV spots and those type things. So. Got a fan over here blowing on me, guys, like I do sometimes because it's hot, I can never remember if I've asked this or if anybody has told me, but is this fan pink? I can't tell. I think it is. Doesn't matter. I'm just asking. But it's down here kind of keeping me a little bit cool. Not drinking a beer tonight. I'm kind of on top of the sinus thing. I've just had a real bad, indigestion. I've had just a real bad GERD going on. Anytime I eat something, or almost even if I don't, if I just drink water or coffee or whatever, I feel like everything is just sitting right here at the top of the bottom of my throat, just about ready to regurgitate, into the mouth. if that appetizes you. So just continuously up to here on my GI tract, and just stuffy, sneezing all the time, red-faced, blowing my nose just 20 times a day. Oh, my goodness. It's a rough life, It's rough. Out here in the trailer, couldn't really figure out where I wanted to do this thing. We're going to do another show this week, hopefully, if things go as planned. Maybe a slight monkey wrench and some things that could postpone things, but originally the plan was this week I wasn't doing anything appointment-wise or music-wise or medical appointments, any of those things. So we were going to try and get together with Mr. Paul Stone and his lovely bride, Deborah, Deb. We're going to get together at their place and go up into Paul's studio and try and put together a little couples podcast, my first ever couples podcast. We've had people on, double 2 people at a time before. We had Brian Cox and Ben Banky, with Oak Road Brewing Company. We had Scotty Oliver and Tommy Altair from Blue Sphere. I think I did one with Mr. Gordon Peters and Dennis Essenbacher. I think actually Tommy came in and out on that one too, so we actually had 3 people. Who else have we done doubles with? Paul Pietrofresso and Fleming Moore had been on together. And of course, when what's that guy's name? When Caleb Quirey and I were together doing the podcast, of course, there was 3 people in the studio at that point. So we've done 3s before, but I've never had a couple on. So it's going to be interesting. It might be called the divorce episode because after the episode is over, things might just kind of go sideways, or go south. I guess they wouldn't go sideways. They go south. Up front here, guys, was Pulp Fiction. The Pulp Fiction theme It's called Bring Out the Gimp / Camanche. And the reason I played that is twofold. One, damn, it's got another drip on me from the thing up here. Number one, Paul and Deb and I have been, we talk always about, somehow Pulp Fiction comes up in every conversation we have at Lowe's Foods when we're up there at the beer den drinking a beer. But, so I thought it would be fun to have that. But also, the podcast I'm doing today, I wanted to discuss a couple of things, Blackwater Boogie and how that went, upcoming shows, what have you, all this regular stuff. But this is going to be, I'd put out on Facebook and Instagram that I was going to do another river tale or a story from the Mississippi. So I put that together, and this one's going to be called probably the Camanche episode. Might be some other name. I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but it's going to be about Camanche, Iowa. The only thing is Camanche, the actual town of Camanche, Iowa, is not spelled Comanche like it is on this song, Comanche. It's actually Camanche, Iowa. So I was trying to find a song that kind of went with Camanche. That came up, and I said, well, that'll work. I'll probably get hit, of course, obviously with a copyright claim, as I always do, but no big deal. I think only, this is going to be a show 197, I think this show might be. We're getting close to 200 people, guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, kids. The fuck was I just saying? What was I just saying? Camanche. I don't know what the fuck I was just saying, but anyway. I'm going to tell another story from the Mississippi River, and I figured that song would just kind of fit it. I couldn't find one that was spelled the exact same way, so where is Camanche? Let's take a look here. Let's get into some Google Maps that I pulled up. So Camanche, Iowa, if you look at it, we'll pull this down. Yeah, we don't need to see any of that. God, quit giving me all kind of stuff over here. So this is Camanche, right? Camanche is right here. Right now it's 41 degrees. And we're going to zoom in so you can see we're at right here on the Mississippi River. This portion of the Mississippi River, we actually split Iowa and Illinois. So Illinois is on one side of the river on the left side if you're going downriver, and Iowa's on the right side. So Comanche's right here. I'm going to see if I can get it zoomed in here. So what happened was Willie and I were still together at this point. Willie hadn't left the group yet, and we were coming down. I don't know. It's probably 9 o'clock or so in the morning. I said to Willie, I said, you know what? I said, I think I'll find a place to stop on the side of the river and get some lunch today. I didn't feel like eating my lunch out of my cooler on the side of the river this day. I said, fuck it. I'm going to find a place to stay. So I started looking on Google Maps, and I found the town of Camanche. Looked like it was pretty good access off the river. So originally, when I started looking at it, come on, man. I was going to pull through here. There's a marina right here. I was going to come down river. I was going to pull in right here and hit the town. And Willie said he wasn't interested in stopping. He was just going to keep pushing on. Time crunch Willie. He was in a hurry to get to the end because he had some appointments that he had scheduled that he really shouldn't have, but that's another story for another day. So we come pulling around. I was going to pull into here. Once I pulled by here, I didn't really like the landing right there, so I said, let me go up a little bit more. And I saw this little spot right here. I said, oh, I could get in there. I didn't really care for the ramp or anything there. It wasn't really a ramp, actually, on this side. So I said, shit, I'm not really digging any of it. And I'd already looked on the map to see where I wanted to go, and it was a place called, let me pull my notes up here. It was a place called Jersey's is where I was trying to go. That's what I had in my head. And it was supposed to open at 11 o'clock. So I came pulling through, and I missed those two spots. And I said, God damn it. I said, I bet you that's it. I bet you there's nowhere else I can get off the river and get into this town without it being a real pain in the ass. So I started looking. Let me pull up. Where's my satellite view? Hold on. Layers, let's go satellite view. So if I zoom in here, so if you can see this Chicago State Park right here, right here where we're looking at off of the right. Right there, God damn, I don't know if you can really see it here. I'm trying to zoom in as far as I can. So I pulled up right here on this little sandbar, and there was a bunch of rock right here, sand, nice little landing, and there was a stairwell. Had a stairwell, had a fence up here at the top of the stairwell going into the Chicago State Park, Chicago Street Park, I guess that's what it's called. I don't know, because I don't see a Chicago Street right here, so I don't know what the name of the park is for or what it's named after, but there's a stairwell right here. So I pulled up. Willie went by sometime after me. He was a little bit behind me, but I pulled in and I said to myself, okay, self, if you pull in here and you get to the top of these stairs and this gate is locked, if you can't get through that gate, then I'll get back in my canoe and I'll just continue on to wherever the camp spot was that night or that evening, that late afternoon. If it's open, then I'm going to go in and have some lunch. So I pull up. I left all my stuff in the boat there. I said, it's going to be fine. I pull up. I go up to the top of the stairs. The gate's open. So I said, all right. I walk back down to the boat. I got my electronics bag because I really did need to charge some stuff and get some juice. And what else did I get? I think I got my bottle of water, and I think that was about it. Maybe some sunglasses. I don't know. And got up and walked into town. First thing I did was I said, well, I've got to find let's see if I can find it on the map here. What street was it on? I think it was on 3rd Street. It was off of Washington, actually. Where the hell is it? I don't know. I didn't pull this up on the computer earlier. I pulled it up just on my phone. So I'm a little disoriented right now. But I walked through the park. I go up 7th Avenue. I think I went down 3rd Street maybe. There was a park right over here. And it was only like 10:45. It was only 10:45 at that point. So I had about 15 minutes to kill before I got to Jersey's, which is where I was going to eat some lunch. And, I figured I'd have a beer, get a burger, whatever. So the park was there. They had a porta potty, so I used the restroom. And then inside this little gazebo that they had there at the park, they had a power station, with a couple outlets. So I plugged in my stuff, got my phone kind of recharged, sat there, searched the internet, chit-chatted with a few people while I was on a break. And I said, once 11 o'clock rolls around, I'll start walking and get down to Jersey. So, it's like 7 blocks I think I had to walk, is what I had calculated before I even pulled in. So I get in, 11 o'clock rolls around, I gather all my stuff, put all my electronics back in my bag, and start walking down to Jersey's. I walk up, there's a food truck kind of parked catty corner to the building there. And I walk up to the building, go to open the door doesn't open, it's locked. I look at my watch, I said, okay, it's after 11, it's like 10 after 11 now. I went back on my phone, looked back on Google again, looked up restaurants near me, and said Jersey, said it opens at 11, or said it was open at that point, according to Google. And nothing. So I walk around the side of the building, I look in some windows, there's no lights on, nothing's, nobody's in there for sure. I knock on the door, nothing. I start walking away from the building. I said, you know what, let me just call them. So I pull Google back up, I hit the button to call them. I believe it went to voicemail. I can't remember if it went to voicemail or not. It either kept ringing or it went to voicemail. I can't remember. Nothing. Nobody answered. So I said, fuck. So I start walking back the opposite direction. I was going to go find somewhere else to go. And I walked by the food truck there. And I said, hey, can I ask you a question? I said, this building right here behind you, Jersey's, internet said it was supposed to be open at 11 o'clock, but nobody's in there. And it was a lady there at the food truck, and she said, oh, nobody's in there? Yeah, they should be open. I don't know, maybe they don't open till noon today. I can't remember what day of the week this was. And I said, all right, well, I'll check back at noon. And I looked at the Google Maps, and I saw another place down the road, which was called The poorhouse tap is what it was called. Let me go back to my layers here. So the poorhouse tap, and pull that up. Poorhouse tap. So if I go back to my map here, here's Jersey's right down here, and then Poorhouse Tap is right up South Washington Boulevard, right over here. It's supposed to be a tap house, you know, hence the name. I went the back way. I kind of went down 10th Street here. I came up 4th Avenue, came back around. There's a big cemetery right here. So I kind of walked through the cemetery a little bit, and then I walked over here to the poorhouse. Walk into the poorhouse, there's like 3 people in there. They look like they were all construction workers of some sort. They all had, you know, some kind of reflective outfit on, or vest or jacket or what have you. I look at the I think they only had 1 tap, if I remember correctly. They might have had 2 or 3, and only 1 was working or something. I don't know, but it was a wheat beer. I can't remember who the beer was by. They didn't serve any food. They had like 1 crappy beer on tap. I think you could obviously get Bud Light and, you know, Coors Light bottles if you wanted to. Maybe a Mick Ultra or something, I don't know, but wasn't a whole lot going on in there. I think they had a TV, and the screen, the color on it was, looked like the TV must have been 1,000 years old and had been sitting out in the sun forever, and just ruined the picture on it. I drank my beer. It was about 10 minutes to 12, and I said, all right, I'm getting back on the road here. So I paid my bill, walked back down the street, went back down to Jersey's. It's now open. I walk inside. I sit at the bar. Actually, I went to the corner of the place when I first walked in the door. I went to the right, went to the corner. There was an outlet over there, so I went and plugged in all my stuff to continue charging. And I went to the bar, and the lady said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yes." I was just going to get a drink and something to eat. And she said, "Well, that's 2 separate transactions, because our kitchen is separate from the restaurant, or from the bar." And I said, "That's fine." I said, "I can pay 2 different bills. It's not a big deal. I'm thirsty and I want to get something to eat." "Okay, well, if you want to get something to eat, we serve the food from our food truck out front. You can either go out and order, or I can take your order, or you can call them and order, however you want to do it." And I said, "The food truck is part of this establishment?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because I went to the food truck prior to coming in around 11 o'clock when you guys were supposedly supposed to open, and the person out front didn't seem to know what was going on, like y'all weren't a part of each other, but apparently they are." So the food truck is TJ's, I think. Did I write that down? Yeah, TJ's food truck. God damn it, I hate when I do that, when I go over to the map and I'm sitting here talking to you the rest of the time and I just got the map showing, but so I'm like, wow. I said, "Y'all, you know, you guys need to get it together." I didn't say that, you know, I wasn't going to be rude to them, but I just wanted to relax and get off the river, really. So I got me a beer. I think they had an IPA on tap of some sort. I ordered a burger, went out to the food truck and picked it up. And when I went out to the food truck, the guy was working now. The lady was no longer there. The guy that owned the thing, TJ's, apparently he owns both Jersey's and the food truck, which is, again, why it was weird to me. But he's like, "Yeah, if you're going to be in town for a little," I told him what I was doing, and he's like, "Oh, cool, man. Well, if you're going to be in town for a little bit, on your way out, if you go back to the park where your boat is, right around the corner from there, about a block over, is a place called Hyde's Inn." He said, you ought to stop by there on your way out. They got a good happy hour, and they got a good beer selection and things like that. So I said, okay. I said, I might do that on my way out. It's right there, close to the park, so that'd be convenient. So I had a couple beers there, had my burger, and then I walked back out. I think I went to the park one more time, sat there for a minute and did some more charging and just kind of enjoyed the weather. And then I started walking out, slide into, and my plan was, the whole time, was just eat some lunch, get back on the river, and meet the guys downriver. 12 o'clock goes by, 1 o'clock goes by, 1:30 goes by, 2 o'clock, you know. And I'm still saying to myself, okay, I still have time, because, you know, sunset wasn't until I don't know, 7-ish, 7:30, something like that. So I still had plenty of time before sunset. I think it might have been around 7. I don't know. So I say to myself, you have time to go to the Hides Inn and have a couple more drinks before you get back on the river. Why not? You're hanging out in Camanche, you're having a good time. I get to the Hides Inn. Their happy hour starts at 3. I didn't realize that. I knew there was a happy hour because TJ had told me. I probably got in there about 2:45. I go back to the bathroom, I clean up a little bit, order me a beer, sit down at the bar. I get a thing of popcorn. As I'm coming out the bathroom, there's a popcorn machine there, so I get some popcorn. Sit down, order a beer, and I start talking with the bartender, lovely bartender, Rhonda. She actually followed me after that on Facebook and followed the rest of the journey down and congratulated me at the end of the journey. But so I get in there and I explain to her what's going on, and hey, I'm going down the river, and that's why I kind of maybe smell a little bit. I got these nasty clothes on. I'm a little wet. Maybe not at that point because I dried off. I'd been there for about 3 hours already. So she said, "Oh yeah," and it was just me and one person. There was one other person at the bar. And she said, "Yeah, it's a small town, but this is kind of a fun place here. It's going to get packed at happy hour." And I said, "When is happy hour?" She said, 3 o'clock. I said, "Okay." Well, TJ down at the food truck in Jersey's recommended I come down here. And you're telling me it's busy? And I want to say it was either Monday or Wednesday is what I remember. And I said, "You're saying it's going to be busy for happy hour?" She said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be busy." And the town, if you can see when I pulled this thing up earlier, if I go back into Camanche, it says Camanche is a city in Clinton County, Iowa, on the Mississippi River. The population was 4,570 at the time of the 2020 census. And I want to say that this lady, bartender Rhonda, gave me a number even less than that when I was there. So I think they might have lost some people, during the pandemic or whatever. Just in general, maybe factories shut down. I don't know. But apparently it's a real small town. Super small. I swear, at 5:59 this day, I think everybody in the whole town came in to Hides Inn. So place is packed. All of a sudden, about 3:15, 3:20-ish, TJ walks in. I'm sitting toward the end of the bar. There's a little L, at a couple seats away from me on the other side, on the far side of the bar. TJ walks in, the guy from the food truck. He walks in and he says, "Hey," he walks up, shakes my hand. "Hey, good to see you here, man. Good to see you took my suggestion." He goes, sits at the end of the bar, and he tells the bartender, and everybody else within shouting range, that I'm a combat veteran and I'm doing the entire Mississippi River. And Rhonda's like, "Yeah, he's already talked to me about it, and we've been having a good conversation about it." For the next hour and a half, I think I stayed there till about 4:30, close to 5 o'clock. Everybody that walked into the bar, of course, TJ knew everybody. It's a small town. Everybody that walked into the bar, TJ would say, "Hey, Joe, come over here. This is Brian. He's a combat veteran. He's paddling the Mississippi River. Buy him a beer." "Hey, Steve, this is Brian. He's paddling the Mississippi River. He's a combat veteran. Why don't you buy him a beer?" Every single person that came in, TJ told them that I was a veteran and to buy me a beer. And guess what? Everybody that came in that got told that story bought me a beer. So I'm just drinking like a fish in here. I'm drinking, I don't know, I probably had 5, 6 beers, plus the 1 or the 2 at the poorhouse, and then 2 more at Jersey's. I'm 10 beers in at this point already. I'm texting back and forth to guys. I'm saying, "Yeah, I'm having a couple beers. I'm hanging out with some of the locals. I'm having a good time. I'm going to get there eventually." Willie eventually hits me up around 4 and says, "Hey man, you better check the weather. There's a bad storm coming through. You might be better off just staying where you're at." So I pull up my weather app and I'm looking at Google Maps and I'm looking at everything and just trying to ascertain the weather situation. And he was absolutely right. There was a storm, a brewing. I went out and opened the door for a second, just kind of looked. The wind was picking up, clouds were rolling in. And I looked at when this weather was going to start coming in and how much further I had to go to catch up with these guys. And I said, "I think you're right, Willie. I think I'm just going to hang out here. I'll stay the night, and not a big deal. I'll catch up with you guys. I've done it before." This might have been the first time I'd done it, that I had left the group. think I left the group like 3 times. I think this maybe was the first time. I don't know. So I wrap it up there. I drink my final beer or whatever. I stumble out the door. These guys didn't give a crap. I told them, I said, I'm just walking down a couple blocks to the park. I'm going to grab my camping stuff out of my boat, and I'm just going to pitch a tent. None of these guys, all these beers and all the camaraderie and all the fun we were having and conversations we were having and beers we were drinking and just partying down, none of these people offered me a place to stay. I mean, the Hyde's Inn, guess what? It's an actual inn that's got rooms in it. I mean, somebody could have offered me a room. It seems like TJ knew everybody in town. He might have been the mayor, the fucking governor. I don't goddamn know. But I wish somebody would have offered me a place to stay, but needless to say, they did not. I left there. I stumbled down the road. It started just barely sprinkling as I was going down the road. Didn't pour down on me yet. And I made sure that, I looked at the weather app and said, okay, I've got this much time to sit here and have a few drinks, and then I've got to get going to get camp set up, to make sure I miss the rain. So, I didn't realize how many drinks I'd had until I started walking down the street. I got to the camp, to the park there, to the Chicago Street Park. The concrete steps down to the river were probably easily 30 steps, I guess. So I stumbled down the steps. Luckily, did not actually fall down the steps, but I stumbled down the steps, kind of up and down. There's no handrails or anything. It's just steps going. Oh, I think there was a metal handrail on the one side. I get down to my boat. I threw my barrel up on my back because it's got all my camping stuff in it. It's 60 pounds or whatever. I don't know how much it fucking weighed. Never weighed it. It's pulling on me. I'm going up the steps. I'm trying to hold tight and not fall backwards down the steps. I get up to the park, and the park is literally like somebody's front yard. I mean, it's I don't know how many square feet, maybe 500 square feet or something of grass, and there's a couple, little pieces of park equipment or whatever, a swing. I don't know. It's small, little small thing. I don't even know why it's called a park, but. So I get up there, start pulling all my stuff out. I had my sunglasses on still at that point. Sun is still up. I put my sunglasses down on the ground like a dumbass. I eventually end up stepping on them. My brand new, colorblind glasses, color vision glasses that I had bought, $300, $400 or whatever. Smashed them up. They were no good. They were done. I started getting my tent out. Another drop of water. Get my tent out. I start putting my tent up. And there's about just the beginnings of it. To put the floor down, there's two stakes, and then once you get those stakes in and you get the tent up and you get the fly on, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stakes, I think. So that's what, 8 stakes? No, that's 9 stakes, I guess. I think I fell down 9 times putting those stakes in the ground because I was my equilibrium was so off because I was drunk. Every damn time I knelt down to put a stake in the ground, I'd fall over. Boom, I'd fall on this shoulder. Boom, I'd fall on this shoulder. And I could not keep my balance to save my life. And I was just dying laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Luckily, again, that didn't happen while I was going up and down the stairs, and I didn't tumble down and fall into the river and drown and die, I guess. But so I put all my stakes up. I get the tent set up. I unzip it. I didn't even get my sleeping bag out. I didn't put my sleeping pad on the floor. I crawled into the tent, clothes and all, shoes on, everything, got in, curled up into a little fetal position, and I went to sleep. Passed out. Woke up I set my alarm. I woke up about 5:30 in the morning and got on the river, hungover as fuck. Had to, tear everything down. I got on the river right when the sun was coming up. 6 o'clock. And normally we didn't get on the river until 7 or 7:30, sometimes even later than that, depending on how many miles we had to paddle for the day. But there's something on my hand that I can't seem to get the fuck off. So I got on the river early because I no longer are these guys going to be at the campsite that we were going to, which was only, another 10 miles down the river, I think, at that point. They moved on and selected a new stopping point, I think, maybe 30 miles down the river. I don't know. Can't remember what the mileage was that day. I could look it up, but I don't feel like it at the moment. It's on my Strava. I paddled my ass off that day. Like I said, I started an hour earlier than they were going to start, hoping that I could make up some ground and catch up to them on the river. But I didn't end up catching up to them until their next camp spot. And I pulled in around 6:30. So I guess the sun was setting around 6:30 at that point, because I pulled in literally right before the sun went down behind the trees. Fantastic time in Camanche. Met some great people. Had a great time. I still got that fucking, everything's wanting to come up. It's not feeling good at all. So Camanche, had a great time. It was an unexpected stop. It was an unplanned stop. I stopped all by myself. I did not plan on staying the night, but the people were so friendly and I was having such a good time, as all the places that we stopped on the river were. Had a blast. I wish they would have put me up in the hotel there at the Hides Inn, and I didn't have to stay in the tent, and I could have had a nice shower or something, especially in the morning, kind of wake my ass up, a cold shower or something, because I was hung over. And paddling that day in the heat, hung over, trying to make up ground, not taking as many breaks as I normally would, or coasting. Had to really paddle and try and make up some ground, and I did. I caught him. The next time I did not catch him until the day after. It took me 2 days to catch up to him, but this time I did. And that's the story of Camanche. It's not as exciting maybe as the Memphis story or the Jamaican jerk story. Those had some elements that maybe made them a little more interesting, but I thought this was an interesting little town. And I will go back through there. Once I hit the river road and start doing that thing in my car, I'm going to make some stops in some of these towns again, and hopefully reconnect with some of the people that I connected with initially on the river. So that's it. That's the Camanche story. I like it. Had a good time. And yeah, we're 37 minutes in. It's going to be a short one, guys. Hopefully, like I said, I'll be doing another one this week, and maybe that one's going to be, I don't know. We'll probably sit down and talk for an hour with Deb and Paul. As long as all my equipment stays charged up and everything's working all right, it's going to be good. And this will be the first time. Yeah, actually, that's another good point. We've done, multiple people in the studio before, but that was with, all the microphones and the board and all that stuff that I had initially. Well, now I'm using these lavalier mics, and the first set that I bought had 2 mics in a transmitter, so I could talk, one-on-one with somebody. Well, at one point I was going to do 3 people, and I bought another set of mics that hopefully, I haven't tested it out, but hopefully they're plug and play with this transmitter, and I can have all 4 mics connecting to this transmitter, so that'll allow me to do 3 microphones with Paul and Deb. So I'm hoping that's going to work. If not, we'll figure something else out. Paul's got some equipment there, but that's the plan. Another episode this week. It'll be the first time I've done 2 in a week in a long time. So hopefully that happens. What the hell is going on out there? It's a bunch of ducks flying over. Can you hear them? You maybe could have heard that. I don't know. I didn't see the meter moving here on my Switcher Studio thing, but all right. Well, I feel like that was kind of a boring story, but it's a story. I like it. What else was on my notes here? Did I miss anything? Lunch, the steps, the park, charging the phones. The thing was closed. Called them. The food truck, the other restaurant, the bar at the hotel, JT and drinks, the weather, parked at the camp, falling down, broke my glasses, slept in my clothes, left early to catch up. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I got it all. All right, still waiting to get back on the road. Hopefully that's going to happen soon. And we'll talk to you soon, guys. Girls. Later.